Remember Newsweek? Apparently Newsweek is still a thing. I had no idea. I thought they went bankrupt. Newsweek published an article. You can see it here. The headline, Trump greeted by loud boos at South Carolina football game. And President Trump went to the South Carolina Clemson football game. This is kind of a ballsy move, frankly, because, you know, when you're a politician and you go to a big gathering, tens of thousands, how many were at that game? Probably 70,000 at this game. It's the big one, Clemson, South Carolina, the Tigers and the Gamecocks. And by the way, it's Nikki Haley's home state, right? The former governor of South Carolina who's running for president gets him. You know, it's going to be a mixed bag. You never know what kind of reaction you're going to get. So the fact that he won was pretty bold, right? And when he gets to the game, I want you to see the video that Newsweek cited to justify saying this headline here, Donald Trump greeted by loud boos at South Carolina football game. This is outside the arena when he arrives to go into the football stadium. There's probably, 20 people there. And here's the video. All right, now a couple of things about this. There are some boos for sure. It's outside the stadium, as I mentioned. He just drove up. We have no idea how many people are there. We also don't necessarily know what they're booing at because who knows? Because of security, they could be being kept from going into the stadium right now, and they're booing that, right? Here, let me show you when he gets out of the car. Oh wait, he already got out of the car, right? Oh no, they're driving him forward here. All right, so that's the video Newsweek uses to cite the fact that there were boos. Again, people outside the stadium, and for all we know, I mean, we could see because of the lighting where they turned the light on and there was Trump's face, right? For all we know, they're booing the car. We don't know if they're booing Trump per se. The reason I say that is because, again, focus on what the headline is here. The headline, Donald Trump greeted by loud boos at South Carolina football game. Now, I'm going to show you a succession of videos here. The first one is when he drives in, gets out of his car, and he's in the tunnel about to go into the game. I mean, there may be a boo or two in here, but I don't hear them. I mean, there's no way you can write a headline about boos with this crowd reaction. Look at everybody trying to get to him, people trying to shake his hand or high five him, and you hear cheers, you hear screams. All right, they also went on to chant USA, USA, USA. All right, let's switch to another angle. This is when he actually emerges from the tunnel and he goes onto the field. Now, this is the most dangerous moment. This is when you've got 80,000, I'm told, were at this game, Clemson, South Carolina. And you know, I mean, these are college students, right? I mean, we know even a college in South Carolina is going to be full of lefties and Marxists and nutbags, right? So here he is emerging from the tunnel, coming out onto the field. Let's listen for those boos that Newsweek told us about. He's out there. He's up on the big screen. You can hear people chanting USA, USA. You know what? It just occurred to me. There may be another reason why people were in a lousy mood outside the stadium. And we should check on this if you could. I don't know how easy this is, Kevin, for you to check on. But I bet they all had to go through Secret Service. I bet they all had to go through special security protocols for the game, which probably delayed their entry to the game. Because it just occurred to me while he was standing on the field and Secret Service is looking, it's like, you know, I bet that there was extra security protocols, and that probably put him in a bad mood while the people were late and trying to get to the game as Trump arrived. But let's take another angle, because that's the angle on the field, right? And the microphone on the phone probably just picked up all the cheers from the people in the rich seats, right? Oh, sure, all the rich 1%er Republicans were cheering for him. But what about up in the cheap seats? What about in the back row? All right, let's take a look. You hear the USA chant? You hear the cheers? You hear, I mean, you may be able to find a boo or two in there, but can I just remind you, this is the headline. Donald Trump greeted by loud boos at South Carolina football game. The actual moment he goes out on the field, from upstairs in like the cheap seats of the stadium, 80,000 strong. You know, one thing that we've learned today is whether it's Ireland or Canada or the United States, sports reporters at a football game, across the board, the media sucks. 100% sucks. They'll lie to you. They'll lie to you for their own purposes. By the way, I've got one more angle for you, and I want to show this one to you because I've experienced this myself. I went to the Army-Navy game in 2019 when Donald Trump was... Actually, I did go in 2019. I also went in 2018. So this was just a year after the election. Army-Navy game in Philadelphia. Trump comes out as commander-in-chief onto the field. And listen, it's a pro-military stadium, obviously, because it's all either veterans or parents of kids who are in the military and at the service academies at West Point or Naval Academy. But still, I mean, these are people from all across the country who attend the Army-Navy game. And anytime a president takes that field, it's a risk. Let me tell you something. I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think President Biden has been to an Army-Navy game yet. I don't think he has, at least not the ones that I've been to. Because you never know what kind of reaction you're going to get. With the Army-Navy game that I went to when Donald Trump was there and took the field, it was mayhem. It was nothing but love and cheers for President Trump. Now, that's not to say that there aren't people out there who don't like Donald Trump. There are people who feel very passionately about Donald Trump. But I don't think that the people who go to the Army-Navy game or the Clemson, South Carolina game, for as many people who have very negative feelings about Donald Trump, there are just as many people who have incredibly strong, positive feelings about Donald Trump. Yes, people hate him, but there are a lot of people who love him. A lot. And this scene from inside his box is what I witnessed at the Army-Navy game, not just the cheers on the field, but when he went up to his box, and at the Army-Navy game, he switches sides at halftime because the commander-in-chief can't take sides in Army-Navy. One half he sits on the Army side, one half he sits on the Navy side. And when he was up in his box watching the game, everybody in front of that box, they didn't even watch the game. They wanted to watch Trump. I mean, look at that. This is a major rivalry game between Clemson and South Carolina, and everyone's turned away from the field and waving and cheering on Trump. And the media's headline is Trump greeted by loud boos. As Andrew Breitbart used to say, hey, members of the media, people don't hate you because you're biased. I mean, they do hate you, and you are biased, but they don't hate you because you're biased. They hate you because you suck, and you do.